guys, it's MimiGirl01 aka Linnea, and I've decided that I wanted to talk to you guys about it's kind of hard for me, but it's not that hard, but I wanted to talk to you guys about how I've overcome in the past and currently autistic breakdowns, can also be known as sensory overloads depending on the situation, but also can be considered freakouts or tantrums, but I consider it an autistic breakdown because it's different from a tantrum, and it's not like it's not like I was trying to freak out. And I say was because I don't have them very often anymore. I usually had them when things just weren't good at all. Usually that meant I got in a fight with somebody, or school just was terrible, or it just was a really bad day. Like most people have their own ways of dealing with things, but it just would happen. And then sensory overload is when your senses, basically you have too much senses. For me, I still do, but now only when I'm tired and stuff. I could hear technology, things that people couldn't hear. And no, I'm not insane. The technology usually was on, and I could hear it, and it would cause issues. On top of other people speaking, loud crowds being super loud, it was really hard for me to be a part of school events, go to the fair. It was really hard growing up. Except I had an amazing family when it came to events and stuff, so I didn't have to worry about it as much, and I learned to cope with it at a very young age. So basically, I'm going to tell you ways that if you have autism or your children have autism, ways that you can help them and ways that you can help yourself. And I'm not saying this will always work. I'm not saying that it's the cure-all. I'm saying this is one of the many options that you could try that could work. I knew that for me, when I especially am in a bad mood, I like to be alone. When I tell people that I can't have them around me, it's usually for their safety. So if you have a kid that's really, or somebody that says they don't want to hurt you and stuff and walks away, acknowledge that. That's not just for autism, that's for anybody. But then for sensory overload, I just like Carly Freshman brings up, sometimes we have to put out output to block in the input. Basically what I'm saying is, if your child starts making noises to cover up what you're saying, or they start humming, or they might start tapping a pencil, what they're doing is they're not trying to be rude, I promise you. What they're trying to do is they're trying to block the input because it's too much coming in. There's too much noise coming in. Like I said, I used to be able to hear, I still can, but when I'm super tired, hear a lot of different technology noises, and a lot of, sometimes that would be too much for me. So for me, I would start humming. Sometimes I would put on music and just block out everything. For me, I also like to write. I would just start writing stories and stuff, writing down my feelings. It helped out a lot for me. I don't know if it would help out for you, whether whoever you are or what your situation is. But that's helped me out a lot. It's also something I like to call an autistic seizure. I've had those in elementary school. I had them in the 4th grade and the 5th grade, except my parents thought I was just messing around in the 4th grade and that I was lying. And when I brought it up in the 5th grade that it was real, they said it was something totally different, but no, it was the exact same thing. Basically, for me, it was like all of a sudden I get really tired and above my eyebrows would hurt, like hurt so badly, like above my eyebrows. All of a sudden, like when I closed my eyes, it helped a little bit, but I couldn't stay awake. And if I went to sleep, I could hear everything going on. I could hear every single thing, but the issue was I couldn't react to it. My body just wouldn't let me react to it. The only way to get me out of it was basically to shake me awake or physically hurt me to get me out of it. For that one, what happened was, I think that was another form of sensory overload. I got so overloaded and so stressed out that I blocked everything out, and that's basically what an autistic seizure is. It's just another form of sensory overload. And it is very important that you just slow down, especially if you're starting to have autistic seizures, is to slow down, slow your roll, and work things one at a time. At that time, I was taking a medicine called Concerta. It has Ritalin in it, which is not a good drug, but I have to say, growing up, it helped a lot. It's because there is Ritalin in it, it's super addictive, and I'm glad that I got taken off of it after I moved out here to Washington, because I was the withdrawals were terrible. If your child starts acting up in the evening because they took Concerta or any other form of Ritalin, in the morning they start acting up and start acting like they're going for a sensory overload, or acting very strange, like they're hurting people and they're very irritable. I recommend getting them off Ritalin and not putting them back on at all. Don't put them back on, because they're already addicted to the drug. They're already going through withdrawals. And if they ask for it, don't give it to them. Because, like I said, they're going through withdrawals, and they have to go for the full withdrawal process. My aunt did that with me, and it's just important that they feel like they can handle it, If they don't act like any different after the medicine wears off, then I say you can continue with it. But back to the autistic seizures. For me, when I was still on it, we changed up the time I took it because like I was stressing out, and it actually helped me calm down. Concerta is used for those with ADHD, and usually Aspergers has ADHD that goes with it. So Aspergers and ADHD are very common together, and this is for people with high-functioning autism like Aspergers. I don't know if it's the same thing. I'm sure it's not the same thing for everybody. I'm sure that one thing won't work. Like I said, one thing won't work for everybody. But changing up the medicine helped me for a little bit because I wasn't having those autistic seizures anymore. Within high school, when I got stressed out, I started having panic attacks and hyperventilating. I don't do that as much anymore. I did it a couple times after moving into the girls' home, which I'll explain in the future. Or you can read my book, I have a book out called Shaping Into Me, and it will explain a lot more of this stuff in detail when it comes to my life, but it doesn't explain how I've been dealing with my autism. But as I was saying, I would start hyperventilating and getting really anxious. And I think the best thing to do for that is just remind yourself that you're okay, that take one step at a time. It's okay if you're starting to hyperventilate or you're starting to feel like you're going to start hyperventilating, because you can usually tell. Think about your surroundings. Like, think about, why am I stressed out? Think about, okay, what do I usually do when I'm stressed out? What can I do in this moment, And that usually helps out really a lot. For me, I haven't had extreme ones since I moved into the girls' home, but I'm in the boys' home now because I'm not going to explain that. But for me, what I did was I would I would think about it, and I was saying, okay, so if I'm starting to feel very anxious, why am I anxious? And then okay, then I need to calm down. And sometimes I would have to redirect my breathing, do the whole in for the nose, hold, out for the mouth thing, or I would do something that was fun to me, or I would just talk to somebody, and that usually helped me. Of course, most people are going to ask what can they do for you, and the best thing they can do for you is just talk to you. So just let them know that you're okay and that you're going to be okay. I've been wanting to make this video for so long, and I hope everything on this video helps somebody out, whether it's somebody dealing with autism or somebody who wants to help somebody else who's dealing with having autism and having ADHD and aspergers. I want to say dealing with autism, I keep on saying dealing with autism, but you don't deal with autism that much. It's not something you can cure. It's not something that needs to be fixed, It's something that, you can work with and you can fix things through it. But overall, it shouldn't be something you overall have to fix. You can fix the things that are wrong within it, because there is some things, I've had problems communicating with my own age group. I've actually worked through that and can do it better. I'm currently having issues with understanding my own emotions and other people's emotions. But I'm learning how to work through that with my boyfriend, who's super wonderful and I love to death, and I can't wait to see how our relationship grows. So, that's all I have for today. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. I also have a Twitter. I don't know if I'll set up the description right away, but when I do, you will be able to see everything on my social media. If you need to get a hold of me, just let me know. Get a hold of me. If you feel like you have to talk to me, get a hold of me, and I will do my best to answer any question you guys have. Feel free to even go on Twitter and use the hashtag #MimiAnswers. That's where I like to answer other questions that I usually won't answer on my YouTube channel. Well, I will answer here on my YouTube channel, but I won't answer in my live streams because I'm also a live streamer. So feel free to ask questions, and don't be afraid to, because I'm a pretty open person. I can be pretty open. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your guys' day, that your afternoon is sparkling fantastic, that your evening's worth relaxing, and that you get some good sleep tonight. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your guys' day. I'm going to talk to you later. Bye!